This is the first time that I'm stepping into the theatre not already reading about trade expert opinions about the movie or the early reviews dropping in, but politicians giving their 2 cents about the movie, and just one after the other states declaring the movie to be tax-free. The movie has had a lot of chatter around it for the sheer investment riding on it and the expectations of a big star like Akshay Kumar to deliver in a period epic, an avatar of the actor that has rarely been seen in his long filmography. I think the most faith that I had while stepping in for this film is the source material and the ability of a creator like Chandraprakash Dwivedi to do justice to a story of a brave heart from the mainland. The film based on Prithviraj Raso by Chandraprakash, played by Sonu Sood in this film, the screenplay basically focuses on the rise and power of the young king Samrat Prithviraj, played by Akshay Kumar, the internal conflict within the subcontinent among other kingdoms, especially Kannauj, the marriage with Sanyogita played by Manushi Chhillar, the daughter of the Raja of Kannauj, and finally the two significant battles against Muhammad Ghori played by Manav, who has eyes on capturing Delhi, and what transpired as the aftermath. I have to also preface before talking about this film that this perception that the movie has not been marketed enough is an absolute farce. Akshay Kumar literally has done everything in his ability to promote this movie, both from a digital and mainstream media standpoint and covering all political tracks, so that this film has some mileage at the box office. So while I still may have some gripe with Yash Raj Films and their odd process of promoting their movies, Akshay Kumar literally has done everything in his ability to make people aware of this movie coming out. So getting right into it, here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Samrat Prithviraj in theatres or not. The music. One of the most striking qualities of most period epics that have become successful in Hindi cinema is the beautiful music that has been contributed to its screenplay. I can think of many examples like Jodha Akbar having an exhilarating tune like Azim o Shan Shahenshah, and one of the most memorable tracks like Jashne Bahara that is still played today. Who can of course forget the soulful Sufi track Khwaja Mere Khwaja. You look at a film like Baji Rao Mastani and it has the female lead spearheading a beautiful tune like Diwani Mastani and a chest-thumping song with absolute fervor like Malhari that will motivate anyone. Who can forget Ghumar and Khali Bali from Padmavat or Ghamand Kar from Tanaji? All of these tunes became such ragers and you immediately associate these films to this great music. Sadly, Prithviraj for some odd reason did not release a single number other than its main track before its release, leaving it for the theatre experience. But everything from the romantic track to the soulful piece, and one that should absolutely break you having parallels with the most iconic sequence from Padmavat, don't have the memorable aspect that will make you go on an audio streaming platform immediately after stepping out of the theatre. The forgettable music of such an epic film on such a grand scale is really sad to see from the trio like Shankar Ehsaan Loy. Other than Harihar, nothing really stands out as a knockout from the album. Technically outstanding. It is absolutely insane on how the technical department in this film has hit it out of the park. Each department standing out, assuring that larger-than-life cinema that essentially is what Prithviraj represents. The production design by Subroto Chakrabarti and Amit Ray will really encapsulate you. The frames are so beautiful, the sets so immaculate and grand that they have the capability to transport you to the 12th century. This is complemented beautifully by the costumes in each frame, exuding this regal touch needed in sequences. The contrast between the royal color palette of the Indian subcontinent versus the rustic gritty-like tone of Afghanistan creates a great visual experience that one wishes for in a movie presented on such a scale. The standout technical quality of this film, however, is how such great detailing has been executed with its special effects. The conviction with which the lions have been captured in the gladiator-like premise, they could have easily come across as fake digitally rendered models, but they really do provide a realistic tone in the way they have been portrayed and finally rendered. The ability of creators to make even Sanjay Dutt come across as an agile soldier, powering his way through on a horse and into combat so swiftly is the ability of magicians. You can clearly tell that Sanjay Dutt's face has been morphed into a more athletic, capable body, but my god do they ace it to look convincing. The same can be said about the climax as well. Through many period epics, the horse riding and combat sequences lack the realistic portrayals of warfare, but this film gets it right from a technical standpoint. There's no doubt about it. The antagonist. I absolutely love Manav Vij as an actor, and I think he contributed a very menacing performance as the antagonist in a film like Lal Kaptan. For probably no fault of his and how he has been instructed to play his role, his rendition of Mohammad Ghori sadly will pale in comparison to the other memorable antagonists we have seen in period epics. He embarks upon channelizing a baritone voice and a stoic-like presence, but it doesn't rile up an intimidating feeling within you as a viewer. There is no insight into his personality individually. You want to be scared of the impending doom, but the character through the writing doesn't possess the horrifying presence one would equate to an army being led and attacking the Indian subcontinent. Imagine the face-offs between Saif and Ajay and Tanaji, or between Ranveer and Shahid and Padmavat. They excited the masses like one can remember even today. What viewers want in the form of period epics is to emotionally root for your main hero, and to fear the force that he ultimately battles with. While you empathize and connect with your main lead, you are barely overwhelmed by Ghori's stocky presence or scared of his resolute nature of capturing the country. The ability of an actor should be taken into account, I agree, and Manav Vij is a good actor, but when films are mounted on this scale, they deserve a bigger star in my eyes to give Akshay Kumar a run for his money, making the ultimate face-off even more exciting. Standout performers. There are some performers from the cast that just understood their assignment. When films are mounted on such a scale, they require actors to have a sense of gravitas in their performance, a dramatic tone that might seem hammy in other genre of films but fit just perfectly at the pitch at which, say, a film like Prithviraj is presented. In my eyes, Ashutosh Rana and Sakshi Tanwar are some of the standout performers of this film, standing out as the king and queen of Kannauj, having the best interest of their daughter in mind. You can just see in every sequence that they featured in, there is a rise in the sheer quality of the performance. Sonu Sood as Chandvardai also puts forth a resolute performance as Prithviraj's right-hand man. An actor that is mostly disregarded as the antagonist in commercial films, he brings the much-needed pragmatism and restraint in a unit that is emotional and reactive. Running time and lots to pack in. Chandraprakash Dwivedi is a man who has extreme in-depth knowledge of Indian history, morals and practices that has been followed for centuries. And Prithviraj and the content that it wants to focus on is a testament to that. I fell in love with his show Chanakya for the lessons that it imparted in each conclusion across 47 episodes. What Chandraprakash Dwivedi wants to pack in Prithviraj is far too much for a running time that is too brief, and it is as simple as that. 2 hours and 13 minutes for a period epic that wants to focus on the rise of Prithviraj, his courting process with Sanyogita, the conflict with Kannauj, a commentary on social issues and egalitarian thought, the conflict with Ghori to the ultimate ramifications of being a prisoner of war. All of this needs a little more time in its screenplay, which you will notice seems to be in a rush to move on to the next thing. The editing at one point of time is so fast that it skips one of the most anticipated battles and merely makes it a montage and carries on to the next event. Even the music is abruptly placed in its screenplay, changing the mood of the storytelling in a fast pace, never really letting you settle and understand the true emotions of its characters. A sense of loss that should emotionally draw you in is sped up to move on to the next event. A traumatic sequence is highlighted and given the same rush treatment. It takes away from a film that could have been exceptional, but just became lukewarm in its execution at best. The curious case of casting. Manushi Chhillar is in her debut role and the pressure is exceptional. Giving credit where credit is due, the actor's language and voice modulation is on point with her delivery and she really shines in the songs, dancing effortlessly to the otherwise mediocre music. She is, however, poker-faced through most of her emotional moments, not really having the ability to impact audiences with the emotional arc and longing that she has for Prithviraj. Sanjay Dutt playing the loyal soldier to the king is mostly shouting throughout the running time, almost at a nauseating level. The VFX and CGI doing most of the job for his case of coming across as a convincing soldier on the battlefield. Getting to the main man, the title role, Akshay Kumar. What I can say about this man is that at 54, he is as agile as ever. He is so convincing and effortless in action sequences, it's really something to marvel at on how physically he has maintained himself to be convincing in every action set piece. However, as the character of Prithviraj for me, this was Akshay Kumar playing Prithviraj. I could just not get the fact out of my head that this is Akshay Kumar. The ability to completely imbibe the essence of the king is missing, especially in scenes that require the actor to channelize a sense of command amongst his kingdom. It seems like another project that Akshay Kumar has done, and a very good job at that, but not excelled at it to become legendary, something that many people will talk about for years to come. And that's the difference. When people defend his regularity of doing a movie every 2 months, yes, he is helping and employing people and loves his job. That's good. But also on the flip side, that's the difference. That the performances will be good. He has decades of experience in front of camera, and of course it will be good. But it never goes up the notch to become a masterpiece. And that's what a movie of this scale and vision demands. Samrat Prithviraj, in my eyes, is a film that deserved a longer running time, better music, and a more dynamic antagonist to become truly memorable. What we are left with is a period epic that is not entirely bad and not entirely exceptional. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Samrat Prithviraj. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.